Your balcony is not too small. Your apartment wall is not useless. That tiny patio you keep apologizing for to your friends, it can become the greenest, most photographed spot in your home, and you do not need a big budget or a green thumb to make it happen. Stick around, because by the end of this video you will know exactly which vertical garden method fits your space, your budget, and your laziness level. Yes, I said it, because some of these ideas need almost zero maintenance. Before we get into it, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because on Home Intel we break down real practical home design ideas without any sponsor bias, just honest advice that actually works in your space. Now, let us get into it. Why vertical gardens work for small spaces. The biggest mistake people make with small spaces is thinking horizontally. You only have so much floor space, but your walls are usually empty from floor to ceiling. A vertical garden takes advantage of that and uses vertical real estate. It also does something else that most people do not talk about. It changes how a room feels psychologically. Greenery pulled upward makes ceilings feel higher and rooms feel more spacious, not less. So before you assume plants will make your small apartment feel cluttered, understand that the opposite is usually true when done right. The Pallet garden method. This is probably the cheapest entry point into vertical gardening. You get a wooden pallet. Sand it down so nobody gets a splinter. Staple some landscape fabric to the back and bottom of each slot. Then fill those pockets with soil and plant directly into them. Before you grab just any pallet though, check the stamp on the wood. You want one marked HT, which means heat treated. Avoid anything stamped MB, which means it was treated with methyl bromide, a toxic chemical that can leach into your soil and is a real hazard if you're growing herbs or anything edible. Once you have the right pallet, lean it against a wall or hang it and give it about 2 weeks lying flat so the roots establish before you stand upright. This works best for herbs, succulents, and shallow-rooted plants like lettuce. The honest downside here, pallets can rot over time if you do not seal the wood, so treat with an outdoor sealant first if it will be exposed to rain. The pocket felt wall system. If you want something that looks more polished without much carpentry, felt pocket wall planters are a solid choice. These are the fabric organizers with multiple pockets you mount directly to a wall or fence. Each pocket holds a small plant. Now here is something a lot of people get backwards. Felt is breathable, so it actually dries out faster than plastic or terracotta, not slower. That means these are not the low-maintenance option they are marketed as. Expect to water them more often than a regular pot unless you pair the system with a drip line. There's also a structural issue nobody mentions. If you mount felt pockets directly onto drywall or untreated wood indoors, moisture will seep through the back over time and can cause mold or water damage to your wall. Always mount the felt onto a waterproof backing board first. A sheet of plastic or treated plywood works fine. On top of that, felt breaks down faster than plastic or wood, so expect to replace these every couple of years, especially outdoors where they face sun and rain constantly. The PVC pipe planter. This one surprises people because it looks more expensive than it actually is. You take PVC pipes, cut holes along the length at intervals, cap both ends, drill drainage holes at the bottom of each planting hole, then mount the pipes horizontally in a stack pattern on a wall using pipe straps. Paint them any color you want. This is fantastic for strawberries, herbs, and trailing plants like pothos. 2 things people get wrong here. First, drainage. If you skip the drainage holes, your roots will rot within weeks, so do not skip that step no matter how tempting it is to save time. Second, weight. Wet soil is heavy, and long PVC pipes can sag or warp under that weight if they are not supported properly. Use heavy-duty pipe straps roughly every 3 feet to keep the pipes from bowing over time. The ladder shelf display. Sometimes the simplest option is the best one. An old wooden ladder leaned against a wall instantly becomes multiple tiers for potted plants. No drilling, no permanent installation, and you can rearrange it whenever you want. This is ideal for renters who cannot drill into walls. Mix plant sizes and pot colors across the rungs, so it does not look like a single monotonous row. The trade-off is that this takes up a bit of floor footprint compared to wall-mounted systems, so it works better for a patio corner than a narrow hallway. The hanging gutter planter. Vinyl rain gutters mounted horizontally in tiers along a wall or fence create shallow troughs perfect for lettuce, spinach, and strawberries. Cap the ends, drill drainage holes, and mount using brackets with slight tilt so excess water runs off instead of pooling. This method gives you a surprising amount of growing surface for very little wall depth, which matters a lot if your balcony is barely wide enough to walk through. One thing to watch for if you live in an apartment, that tilt is a drain somewhere. And if you do not manage it, muddy runoff water can end up pouring onto your downstairs neighbor's balcony. Place a small collection bucket or tray at the low end of the tilt to catch runoff before it becomes a neighbor problem. Gutters also heat up fast in direct sun, so this works best in partial shade climates, or you will need to water more frequently than other methods. The living wall panel system. This is the most advanced and most expensive option on this list. Modular living wall panels with built-in irrigation. Companies sell interlocking plastic grid panels that you fill with growing medium and plants, then connect to a drip irrigation line on a timer. This is the closest thing to a true green wall you see in high-end interior design photos. It requires more upfront investment and some plumbing knowledge, but the payoff is a wall that mostly waters itself. If your budget allows it and you want that dramatic, magazine-worthy look, this is a method to research further. Plant selection matters more than the structure. Here is something a lot of vertical garden videos skip over, and it might be the most important part. The structure you build means nothing if you plant the wrong things in it. Shallow containers need shallow-rooted plants. Think herbs, lettuce, strawberries, succulents, and trailing vines like pothos or string of pearls. Do not try to grow tomatoes or peppers in a shallow pocket system. Their root systems need depth, and they will struggle no matter how well you built the wall. Match your plant choice to your container depth first, then worry about aesthetics. Light and watering reality check. Most vertical gardens fail not because of bad building, but because of ignored sunlight requirements. Before choosing any of these methods, actually track how many hours of direct sun your wall or balcony gets during the day. South-facing walls in the northern hemisphere get the most light, north-facing walls get the least. Herbs like basil and rosemary want at least 6 hours of sun, while ferns and pothos tolerate much less. Watering vertical systems also dries out faster than ground planters because of gravity and increased air exposure, so expect to water more often than your regular pot, sometimes daily in hot weather. Budget breakdown. If you're working with a tight budget, the pallet garden and ladder shelf display are your cheapest routes, often achievable for under $30 if you already own basic tools. The PVC pipe planter and gutter systems sit in a moderate range depending on how much wall space you are covering. The felt pocket system is moderate but has a shorter lifespan and higher water demand than people expect, so factor in replacement cost and a bit more watering time over the years. The living wall panel system is the most expensive by far once you add irrigation components, and is really only worth it if you plan to keep the space long term. The truth is you do not need a huge budget or a backyard to have a vertical garden that actually thrives. What you need is the right method for your specific wall, the right plants for your container depth, and an honest understanding of how much sunlight and water your space actually needs. Start small. Even a single pallet or a repurposed ladder can completely change how your space feels, and you can always expand once you see what works. That is our honest breakdown of DIY vertical garden ideas for small spaces. If this helped you picture what your own wall or balcony could look like, give this video a like and subscribe to Home Intel for more practical, no-fluff home design content. Let me know in the comments which method you are trying first. I read every one of them. See you in the next video.